So she's, even though she's idling smoothly, got the engine light, and I got the 03 code again for number 3 cylinder. I got it the other day, and then the light went out, and it came back on. And then this morning I had very low volts, and my battery light was on, and I have a new battery. And I did a bunch of research. When it's specific to a cylinder, it's either the plug, the wire, the cylinder itself. So it could be a bad valve ring in the cylinder. I pulled all the plugs. None of the plugs are fouled. Seems like, now it could be an injector, but I put a whole new spider injector in there. So the only other thing I can think of at this point is the distributor cap. I put a new distributor, OEM, you know, the AC Delco, almost exactly a year ago. It was January 4th last year. But as I was looking at YouTube, it seems like these Vortecs have an issue with spark jumping from one cylinder to the next inside the cap itself. You go ahead and look, not just the 4.3s, but even the V8s of all sizes. And I was watching how people were pulling the distributor cap and showing connectivity between those posts that's not supposed to be there. I watched one last night on a V8 where a guy he put power into it and was showing spark, where you could see the spark jumping. Where it was supposed to be, it was very powerful. The others all had a little bit, and then he went to the one next to it and it was jumping. It had the same amount of spark as the one it's supposed to have. So last year plus, like November, year ago November, when I was in Jersey, I put a standard brand distributor cap and rotor with standard brand wires and new AC Delco Iridium plugs in when I was in New Jersey, and I kept that rotor and cap. Now, all these caps that I've seen so far, including the AC Delcos, have aluminum posts in them. So I'm kind of thinking like it would be nicer, I think, if it was brass or copper or something. Excel makes one you can buy, but it doesn't come with a rotor that I could find. There's a, I don't know if it's a no name or not, but there's a plastic, they're all plastic or whatever they are. The cap, there's a cap on AutoZone or Amazon that does have brass posts for 17 bucks. I may buy that and give it a shot. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull this doghouse off, and I'm going to replace the distributor cap real quick, see if the code goes away. And if it does, then I'll think about that, buying another cap that looks better to me. And then I'm going to run over to AutoZone. They'll do a free electrical system test. They got this little computer they hook up to your battery, and they can tell you if something's going wrong. I feel like I can hear my alternator spinning. And I don't know, like there's, I have another intermittent thing I can't think of. Oh, the battery issue. So I'm starting to think that maybe that alternator's going, and I think that the reason why the 03 code P0303, number 3 cylinder, why that's popping up again, I'm thinking that it's randomly misfiring on number 3 because the cap is bad. It's the only thing I can think of. So, and I might have a short somewhere. I don't know, but hopefully the electrical system test will tell me that. I'm going to show you the tools I use to take this off real quick. I've already done videos on taking the doghouse cover off, so I don't want to go crazy on that. But I'll show you a few things. It should be a short video, hopefully, if I don't start talking about something else, because believe me, there's like 20 things on my mind right now. You're going to need number 30 Torx screw for these screws here. This thing then kind of pops off. There's a couple screws in the bottom. There's 15 mil back there. Hang on. All right, so my compact screw gun is on a job site. So I got the big one here. It's always in the van. You need one of these suckers here so you can put your sockets on. This is your number 3 Torx. I got a 15 mil sock, a 13 millimeter socket, and then that super long extension. Number 1. Now, I got a new way to do this these days, and I like to pull that nut off first, right there. And then the 2 Torx screws up here, and then that comes right off. And then this bracket you have to pull off separately with the bolt there. They're both 13 mil, so it makes it easy. Can't find my little tripod, so not careful, you'll lose that nut. So I put a finger on it. Last time it fell underneath the carpet, underneath the plastic, and I had to get a magnet out to find that again. There's one on the other side. Oh, I forgot to plug in the wire here for the cigarette lighters. Last time I took this out, looks like. Alright. Don't know what you're seeing there, but alright, and these brackets come right off. I'm going to put the 15 mil socket on. I'm going to get up underneath the dash and get those two. There's one right back there, and then there's one on the other side. You have to disconnect this, and you got to rip this thing out of here. Easier to do this with two hands. Hang on. Alright, this thing's loose. Now, of course, before you pull this, you want to make sure that both your seats are fully back. I did that already. I usually do this from the passenger side of the vehicle, and I pull up on this and I tip this up this way and out. So I'm going to try to capture that on film for you, and hopefully it won't be a nightmare. Sometimes it's harder than other times. Let's give her a shot here. I know a lot of people will pull this seat out completely for this, and I don't blame them. Usually, you can get this to just work right up there like that. It's out of the way, and that Hurst shifter did not get in the way. Here's your distributor cap. Here is, oh, forgot about that. It's a Torx head on here. I got to check and make sure I even have those with me. So here's the distributor cap I kept in the back of the van from last year. Okay, so before I pull anything apart, I just want to double check. So on this connector, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They're in the right order. And actually that order is 3, is that right? Yeah, it's 315. So that means this plug here goes to the second plug in the middle, because that's 3. Firing order over here is the spark plugs are 1, 3, 5, and then 2, 4, 6. But on the distributor cap, it's 3, 1, 5. So you have to keep that in mind. But because this is oriented like this, I could pull these, throw it to the side, and I know that these will go in this order of 1, 2, 3. You understand? Same thing here. These plugs are on this clip. I already pulled the coil, but I know that this order is correct. So there's, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which is actually, it's really 2, 4, 6. See it on the cap there. This is a Torx head here. I got lucky. I had this thing. This thing was new in a package. Bought it from my dad decades ago, and I didn't give it to him, and he's dead now. I decided to put it in my kit. It happened to have a 1/4-inch drive on there, and this is a Torx 20, and that's what you need for the distributor. I'll go ahead and take that out. I'm going to turn the camera off only because I can't hold the camera and do it all at the same time. I got one screw out. I forgot to mention. You got to pop the clip for the camshaft sensor, and probably pull the wires first, obviously, before you go and pull the cap off. All right, so visually, it's the one I just took off. I'm not seeing anything visually Those things are not spring loaded on these. This is the one I took off last year. It was only on for, remember, December, like month and a half. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on there. I don't know why this thing is suddenly giving me a hard time with focus. And again, I don't like that these are aluminum, but I'm going to go ahead and put this cap on. I'm going to go ahead and leave that rotor in place. I don't think that would make a huge difference. If there's an arcing issue, it's going to be in here, and it goes this way. It's your number 3 out here on the end, right here. And the weird thing is I don't see where that could be jumping anywhere. Normally, it's one of these other ones where the spark is arcing or jumping between here and here, along here somehow. And it seems to me like number 3 is pretty far off to the side, so I don't know if that's really the issue. Yeah, if this doesn't fix it, I'll put this back. But that's what I'm doing next. Little tip, which I didn't do, but I'm about to do it, is put this back screw in the cap first, because trying to feed it down behind there is a little bit of a nightmare. You might drop it, and you got to dig out your magnet and all that other good stuff. I've been doing this stuff a long time. I barely was tightening this, wasn't even ready to torque it, and this plastic just cracked on me. Doesn't have a metal insert in there, so that's a problem. It's not gonna jump out of there or anything. It's not loose. The cap you can move on there. See that gap? You can actually move that. I don't like any of that. Now, I'm a big fan of putting OEM AC Delco parts in here, but several people that I trust and believe in swear by the billet aluminum replacement distributors. There's one on Amazon that's 50 to 80 bucks. There's another one on Rock Auto that's 100 bucks. Looks pretty good. I might just splurge and get one of those. I don't like that. I feel like I need it now. Let me go ahead and put these wires on and start this thing up and see what happens with that code. All right, all the wires are in, coil wires on. I do have a new coil, but it's at the shop, so I'll put that in another day. Seems pretty smooth. Engine light's still on. Let's put this in gear. Makes that noise there when it's in gear with the brake on. It's in reverse. It sounds like it's in there. So that's got to do with your pressure for your brakes. So that's all that is. That's what that noise is coming from there. So that kind of makes sense, because there's a, it's not a brake booster, it's Hydro Boost. So that's, I guess that's part of the Hydro Boost somehow. Anyhow, seems smooth, engine light's still on. My OBD2 reader needs my phone. I mean, I don't know, man. That bothers me, that crack there. Something's clicking away in there, but I think that's all normal. Alright, I'm going to button this thing up and we'll see what happens. I'll clear the code. I mean, I suppose that could be a small misfire there. I don't know what's going on, man. Anyhow, if you have any thoughts, I have got plenty of volts now. I'm about 14, but I'm going to go ahead and roll over AutoZone real quick and have them run that test. I do think it's a good possibility my alternator's going, and we'll see what happens with that. Then I got to go get material and get back to work. So thanks for being here. I'll catch you in the next one. Any of you pro mechanics out there, you might want to try helping me out on this one. She's idling and no engine light. I went to AutoZone the whole way there. By the way, this is all the tests. It passed all the tests. But all the way there, the battery light was on and it was low volts. And then a half block from the AutoZone, the volts jumped and the battery light went off. So when they did the test, everything was reading good. It's giving me fits, this thing. Gremlins, man. It's Gremlins. I'm driving around town, and if you're watching this for the second time, it's because I'm adding this and that little snippet before it. Engine light went off. Feels the same, like there still might be a little misfire. And I'm getting proper volts, and like I said a minute ago, everything checked out at AutoZone, but from time to time the battery light comes on and I got no volts, or almost none. It starts the car. I think I need a new alternator, but I don't think the alternator has anything to do with the 3 code, which now I'm not showing. I'm going to order one of these distributors. I'm going to look into alternator, maybe get the truck alternator, the bigger one. I was told by Aaron, our Viking wizard, that you need a smaller idler pulley to run the larger pulley on that alternator to still run the stock size serpentine belt. Anyhow, can you sense or feel my frustration? I'm going to drive it down to the beach and go right off the friggin' pier with this thing. That's what I think is happening next. I hope you're having a better day than I am.